In today's video, we're going to talk about how to get your required minimum distributions 100% tax-free. Hey folks, I'm best-selling author David McKnight. Today, we're going to talk about how you, with a little bit of planning, can get your required minimum distributions 100% tax-free. For starters, let's establish that if you have money in any sort of qualified plan, such as a 401k, IRA, etc., there will come a time when the IRS forces you to take that money out. It's called a required minimum distribution, and it starts at age 72. It begins at 3.65% of your balance and then goes up with each passing year. The question is there any way you can receive that RMD, spend it on your lifestyle, not pay tax, and it has to be legal? The answer is, with a little bit of planning, absolutely. To understand how you can get your RMD tax-free, you have to understand how your deductions work in retirement. Let me lay a little bit of groundwork. By the time you stop working, all of the deductions you experienced during your working years will have vanished into thin air right when you need them the very most, which is when you're retired. Your house is paid off, your kids have moved out, and you're no longer contributing to that 401k at work. So the IRS, in their infinite goodness, says, hey, absent any of those other deductions, we will offer you a deduction. It's called a standard deduction. If you were to retire today as a married couple younger than 65, that would be $25,900. What does that mean? It means you can experience income from any number of sources, including distributions from your IRAs and 401ks, up to $25,900 without paying any tax at all. And once you hit age 65, that standard deduction goes up by $2,800. So that means you can experience income up to $28,700 without paying any tax at all. And yes, the IRS does index that number to keep up with inflation. So the key here is to make sure that by the time the IRS forces you to take distributions at age 72, that the balance in your IRA or 401k is low enough that your RMDs are equal to or less than your standard deduction. Here's an example. Let's say that you reach age 72 this year and you have $1.5 million in your IRA. Let's also say that your standard deduction is $28,700. Well, if your RMD at age 72 is 3.65%, then you'll have $54,750 of income. And while $28,700 of that would be offset by your standard deduction, you still owe tax. If you want to get your RMD 100% tax-free, you'd want your balance at age 72 to be closer to $786,301. Why? Because 3.65% of $786,301 is $28,700, equal to your standard deduction that year. When your RMD is equal to your standard deduction, guess what? You get your RMD 100% tax-free. So what do you do if you're on pace to have more than the ideal balance in your 401k or IRA? Well, if your goal is to pay no tax on your RMDs, then you're going to have to do some Roth conversions along the way. By way of those Roth conversions, you can reduce the balance in your IRA or 401k down to the ideal amount. By the way, there's one other caveat. If you did convert your way down to the ideal balance of $786,301, in our previous example, there is still one potential fly in the ointment. That $28,700 RMD counts as provisional income. What's provisional income? That's the income the IRS tracks to determine if they're going to tax your Social Security. Here's how to figure out if your RMD will cause Social Security taxation. Take your RMD and add it to 1/2 of your Social Security, which also counts as provisional income. And if that total exceeds $32,000 as a married couple, your Social Security is going to get taxed. Here's an example. Let's say your RMD is $28,700. Let's also say your Social Security is $30,000. If we add $28,700 to 1/2 of your Social Security, or $15,000, then your total provisional income is $43,700. You've exceeded the $32,000 provisional income threshold, so your Social Security will be taxed. So even if your $28,700 RMD were 100% tax-free, there would still be a high likelihood that you'd end up paying tax on your Social Security. And if you have a hole in your Social Security due to your RMD, you'll have to spend down all your other assets to plug that hole. My experience shows that compensating for Social Security taxation could force you to run out of money 5 to 7 years faster than people who get their Social Security tax-free. So, if you want to get your RMD and your Social Security tax-free, you're much better off having a balance much closer to $350,000. Let me illustrate with an example. The RMD on $350,000 is only $12,775. Let's assume in this example your Social Security is also $30,000. When we add that $12,775 to one half of your Social Security, or $15,000, that gives you total provisional income of $27,775, which is less than $32,000. So you can see with a balance of $350,000, you're in a much better position to have your RMDs and your Social Security 100% tax-free. So if you want your RMD and your Social Security to be tax-free, you may need to be a bit more aggressive with your Roth conversions along the way. Okay, folks, time for the Power Zero question of the day. Do you plan on itemizing or using the standard deduction in retirement? Go ahead and put your answers in the comments section below. If you want to figure out the ideal balance to have in your IRAs and 401ks so that your RMDs and your Social Security are tax-free, head on over to davidmcknight.com and check out my magic number calculator. This will not only show you the ideal balance to have in those accounts, it will also show you exactly how much you'd have to convert each and every year to arrive at the ideal balance before tax rates go up for good. In summary, if you want to have a tax-free retirement, then you have to take a proactive approach to managing the balances in your qualified plans in retirement. In short, you want the balance to be low enough that RMDs are equal to or less than whatever your standard deduction happens to be in a given year. And if you want your Social Security to be tax-free as well, and I highly recommend it, you want the balance to be even lower. If you are currently on track to have too much money in that bucket, you can do a Roth conversion along the way. And since tax rates are near historic lows, now is the perfect time to be doing it. If you need some help navigating these types of strategies, head on over to davidmcknight.com and opt in for a complimentary strategy session. I'm happy to give you a hand. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video, and feel free to make comments or ask questions in the comment section below. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.